Hey CEOs, what's up? If you are watching this, then type replay for me because you're probably watching the replay. What's up? We're doing illegal activity today with your dealer's license, and this was actually inspired by I don't want to say some illegal activity, but yeah, I remembered because I was approached with an opportunity and I was like, oh, that's right. I forgot to let them know about, what can go down with your license. So that is what has been the inspiration for this live, because I don't want you to get caught up. And it's very easy to get caught up because, with your dealer's license, you have access to lots of different things. What's up, Mark? All right, so for those who don't know who I am, I'm Shamel, and I started this group, Dream Dealership, and I started Auto Dealer Business School to help beginner auto dealers know the blueprint for a successful dealership that earns lots of money and has happy customers and has no issues with the law. Okay. Yes. What's up, Mark? So I'm actually, I had to postpone this video a little bit because I'm traveling. I'm in sunny California, sitting out here, my sister's house with my brother. Yep. So, yes, I'm on the West Coast, Rochelle. What's up? So I am actually meeting with a couple of dealers out here, two who are going to join the Accelerator program. So if you would like to get I guess a live strategy session, then and you're on the West Coast. I'm in Sacramento right now, but I'll be in the Bay Area this weekend. So, let me know, okay? You can put it in the comments because I definitely would love to meet you, all right? So before I forget, I want to also let you know that I want you, if you don't already have your license, then you can sign up for drama-free licensing, and I'll put the link in the description. And if you're ready for your personalized strategy, I don't know, personalized might be, a little too strong, but we will go through a strategy session in 30 minutes that would incorporate some things that you specifically need to do to move your business forward. Then I'll put the link in the description for the strategy sessions, okay? All right, so illegal activity, y'all. I forgot all about this because it had been a while since I had been approached with an opportunity, okay? So I'm gonna go through all the other things that are a no-no, and then I'm gonna get to the hot and heavy of what I'm talking about later, because I know I'm gonna take a little bit of time to talk about it. So first off, odometer fraud. Are you guys familiar with odometer fraud, where people roll back the mileage on cars? Or well, right now it's less of a rolling back because our cars are different, and it's more of like if the dash cluster is replaced and it reports a different mileage than the vehicle actually has. You can get caught up in dealer fraud if you do not complete the paperwork correctly and track the fact that you replace the dash, or that, anything reporting the mileage has been replaced. Okay. So you definitely have to make sure you report that, because odometer fraud back in the day, that's what auto dealers used to get caught up doing, because our cars, we could just roll back the mileage and people were taking off 100,000 miles on cars, right? So now we don't roll it back, but we do, I have replaced the dash cluster on many cars. So we do have that still instead of like rolling back the mileage. So, all right. So yes, about odometer. Not really, too many people don't get caught up in that one. That's why I put that one first. Okay. The second one is title fraud. So title fraud is basically, trying to using the title in any inappropriate way, which is why if you make a mistake on your title, you have to get a notary to sign an affidavit of correction, so just really making sure your titles match up with the buyer and the seller, and also making sure that the odometer disclosures are accurate on your title. And that's pretty much, you know, the end of title fraud, unless you're like trying to create titles, and you already know that's a no-no. So hopefully nobody is doing that and getting caught up in title fraud. But I did run into a dude, I want to say like 5 years ago, who was trying to get back into the business, who had gone to jail for doing title fraud. And I was like, I don't know, you know, if that's going to be possible, because once you get caught up doing something illegal with your license, and then you're asking to have another license, that's a difficult sale, if you know what I mean. Okay, so that's title fraud. And then what's the next one? Swapping parts. Okay, so, you know, stealing cars is a big thing. Chopping cars is a big thing. And so now they put VIN numbers on major parts, so that in an effort to crack down on chopping cars. Okay, so that is why it is very, very important, if you change really any part in the car, to get an invoice from your mechanics. If you're not getting invoices from your mechanics now, then you need to start requesting that, and make sure you have that for every job. And then also on those invoices, having listed what repairs were done. Okay, so that is very important. Like, you know, engine replacement, and then putting the VIN number of that engine, or, you know, and then it has to link to the receipt from where you purchased that engine. Okay, these are things that are very, very important. Good morning, Kelvin. What's up? It's, you know, you got to have that receipt from where you purchased that part, especially if it was a used part, or it was from a salvage yard, right? Or if it was from, you know, somebody else, like your neighbor was like, oh, I got an engine for you. Get a receipt, okay, because you don't know where that engine came from. So that's very important, the receipt, and then the invoice from your mechanic to say, yes, I did take this part and I put it in this car. Okay, that will cover you, you know, fraud wise. All right, so definitely make sure, if you are replacing parts, then you got those parts of the process down. Okay, so any questions so far on fraudulent activity, illegal activity with your dealer's license? Any questions so far? While I'm waiting on questions, I have a few notes that I wanted to, okay, that was the other one I almost forgot to mention. So before I get to the really big opportunity, okay, I wanted to talk about what else will get you caught up is taking money for a car, but not providing a car or a title. Okay, again, taking money. So somebody pays you money for a car, but then you did not provide a car or a title. Now that's theft by, that's one of the thefts by. It's like theft by conversion or theft by deception, but either way it's theft. And they can, you know, go and just report the incident, and then have a warrant, you know, or have a court date. You have to appear for the court date, and then the judge decides if that was actually theft by, right? Which is very easy for them to prove, because if they can prove they gave you money and you can't prove you gave them a car or a title for that car, then they win, right? And not only do you have to pay them back, so this is not one of those, oh, I'll just pay them back their money. When you have a theft by case, you will get a theft by charge, all right? And you don't want that, especially being a dealer. You just don't want that, right? So don't do that. So especially for my auto brokers out there, when you are taking money for cars and you don't actually have that car in your inventory, then what you want to do is you want to make sure you get a contract saying, hey, let's be clear, you gave me money, I have not yet given you a car, but this is what we're expecting. This is the expected delivery date. This is the expected car, or, you know, around the expected car, you know, like really outline the specifics of the agreement that you're entering in, because when you exchange money, you are entering into an agreement. So Instead of having the money just be the agreement, you need to actually outline the agreement in an agreement. Okay. So just make sure you have that in writing and have both parties sign. Okay. I lost my light. So now the opportunity. Okay. This one is huge because I think it happens a lot is with financing fraud. There are people who will come to you and they're like, yeah, I got a friend who got approved with so-and-so, and maybe they need a car, but maybe they just want the money, and the car loan was the easiest way to get the money, right? And they're using you and your dealership as a means to basically defraud the bank. They're not getting a car. They're not, and they're still accepting the money, even though they don't get a car. Hey, Darius, good morning. Which is, deception, and can come back on you if they don't pay on that loan, because when people borrow money and they default, then everybody who touched that transaction is now under investigation, especially if they default early in the process. Like, first payment default automatically triggers an investigation in a lot of places, because that basically is like, you took the money and then you ran, like you didn't even make one payment, right? So just don't get caught up in that. If you're set up for financing and somebody comes to you and they're like, well, I got a person looking for a car, let's do this paperwork for the bank to send you the check. But then once they send the check, then they're like, oh, I changed my mind. I don't want the car anymore. That's a red flag. You want to call that bank and say, okay, this customer changed their mind. What do you want me to do with this money? Okay, instead of letting them tell you what to do, because then you get caught up in, what is possibly some illegal activity. Because I'm not assuming that anybody is out there trying to do some things illegal, but, some things are going to come to you probably underneath a cover, right? And it'll look good on the surface, and then they'll make it sound, really good, which is always a red flag. Oh, well, I know he didn't buy the car, or, oh, I didn't buy the car, but I'm gonna still pay you, for your time, and I'm gonna pay you some money. So then that makes you feel like, okay, well, great. I didn't waste my time. My business still made money, so you get all hyped. So then the next time they have a deal, you're like, sure, because if it doesn't work out, I know I'll still get. Now you're part of the ring, right? Unknowingly. So what I would have to say about financing is, one, make sure if you're financing a vehicle and you have a customer, make sure that you are purchasing that vehicle to include in your inventory. So make sure that you can really legitimize the deal by purchasing that vehicle, having it in your inventory, okay? Then if someone comes to you and says, I want to finance that vehicle, then you can go through the process of financing that vehicle. If they change their mind and you received money from the bank, then call the bank and say, hey, our customer has changed their mind about this car purchase. What are your policies and procedures about refunds? Because I have the funds for the sale. Maybe you've deposited the funds, just ask them what their policy is, and then get it in writing. And then that way, if anything comes back, it is now known that, hey, I let everybody know what was up and I got it in writing. So, that's on you. That's not on me. Okay. So any questions about illegal activity, fraud, you with your license, like people using your license, or people using your license to basically defraud the system. Because that's one of the reasons why the finance companies are really fed up with small dealers, because there's a lot of fraud among the small dealers, because a lot of small dealers, one, are struggling for money. So if looks like it's gonna pay, then they're down for it because they're like, whew, because I need some money in this house, right? And then so that's one reason why a lot of small dealers or finance companies don't really want to mess with small dealers like that. And then what's the other thing is that's one of the reasons why we have the pre-licensing class, is to go over all of these, criminal practices. And there's one that I forgot to list that is worth mentioning, which is advertising fraud. So when you're, and they probably went over this in your pre-licensing class, or if they haven't, then it's probably in the manual, which is how to advertise vehicles, like not using certain words like wholesale price or, deceptive language, not changing the price of a vehicle because someone's financing it, which is difficult because if the financing institution is charging you fees, then you price the car for a cash sale, then how are you going to make up for the fees that you have to pay the bank to still have the profit that you expected and that you need for your business, right? But that's one of the things that I work with my auto dealers on in the Accelerator program, is like pricing and how to navigate that situation, in each deal. So if that's something that you're struggling with, don't get caught up in, changing the price, because while no one might immediately come after you, one day somebody might say, open the books, right? And if they see, that, Craigslist in 2021, you had this car listed for, $5,000, but then when it came down to it, it was $6,000, and then you did it again and again and again, because usually people create habits around what they do, and then they do it over and over and over again, right? So don't get caught up in that and deceptive advertising practices. That was my point. Changing prices because a finance customer, and then also using deceptive language, like wholesale, or I think wholesale is the only one that comes to mind right now. All right. Any questions about that? Any questions about any illegal activity at all? Any illegal activity? One other thing that I wanted to say, this is not necessarily illegal, but when I was talking about if somebody came to you and was like, open the books, right? One thing that is a no-no is when you have your dealer fee in your dealer management software, and if you change it and it's different for different customers. Okay, so what I mean by that is, say you start out with a dealer fee of $299. Then you realize that, $295 dealer fee is a lot for my customers to pay. I'm going to go to $199. Well, if you sold a car under the $299 dealer fee, that person, if ever your books were open, that person or somebody on their behalf can claim discrimination because you charge them more and you charge that person less after the fact, right? So what I always tell people is avoid reducing your dealer fee. If you change it, always increase your dealer fee, and then notify, your customers. Notify your customers. I was trying to figure out what else I can say in this short period of time to help you with that process. But yes, that is a very important thing to do also. Just making sure your books are clean. I can't really go into all of them. And look, I'm trying to give you everything, but I can't right now. So what I recommend you do is I recommend you join the Auto Dealer Accelerator. And I recommend that you start with a strategy session. So I'll put the link in the description so that you can book your strategy session and we can talk about what's your plan, what's the best thing for you, because I am sitting here trying to give you everything and I cannot in this little bit of time. It is going to take us, in the Accelerator, we work together for 3 months. It's going to take us 3 months to get your business set up in such a way where you can feel confident that, nothing will come back on you, okay? And that you're running your business clean, above the board, and very profitable, all right? Notify previous customer of the fee change. So yes, notify your customer base of the fee change, okay? So that would include previous customers and prospective customers and new customers, okay? Because you want to make it, it's like a public announcement. Hey, fees are changing, right? And everybody's gotten those emails from a big corporation, right? When they change their privacy policy, when they change their fees, when they change, that's exact. And you're looking at the email like, why are you sending me this? I don't care. That's why they're sending you that. It's like the public announcement. Yo, no discrimination happening here. Just changing the fees. Okay, Lonnie? Yes. So any other questions? Yes. So hopefully you can take this information here and, go back to your business and fix a couple of things if some things are out of order. But like I said, if you need some more assistance, if you need a mentor, if you need someone to hold your hand through the process and go through what, your business looks like and help it get to where it needs to be, then definitely schedule a strategy session and join the Accelerator. All right, you're welcome, Lonnie. All right, so was this helpful, y'all? Are y'all quiet because you're taking notes? I had a dude tell me that once. He was like, you asking questions like, is this good? But I'm taking notes. So yeah, was it helpful? Was it valuable? If it wasn't, then let me know what you wish you would have learned in this video. But I definitely wanted to get this information out there to help protect you and protect your business, because you spend a lot of money, and if you haven't spent it yet, you will spend a lot of money to get started. And the last thing you want to do is get caught up in some mess, and then that's, the end. Thanks for the info. Okay, you're welcome, Darius. All right, cool. Okay, so not sure about next week's video, because I will still be out on the West Coast. So if you're on the West Coast and you're in Sacramento or the Bay Area, holla at me, because I am here. I will post in the group more information about the video next week and what time, because the time change is definitely changing how I'm moving. All right, the 3-hour difference from Atlanta to West Coast. So as always, I wish you all the best. I'm always praying for your success, and let's get it. It is time to get it. This is the time. If you are sitting on the fence, your next best move is strategy session, so you can get off that fence. All right, y'all. Be blessed. Have a good day.